to be fully controlled, or do you?
I like to be submissive. Pretty well, yeah, in the bedroom,
Yes.
but like in my life, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do.
That's why I said, can I get a restraining order and get there first?
Listen, my answer was, I already answered that. You got it. Just go to the court.
Yeah, you should go. Yeah, you should go. You just know her boyfriend. Yeah, you did.
Courtney Clenney had it all. Fame, luxury, money. In fact, she lived the life most people could only dream of. But she decided to throw all that away on April 3rd, 2022, when she brutally murdered her boyfriend in a senseless act of violence. How did this Instagram model go from living the high life to becoming a murder suspect? And what really happened on that fateful day in April 2022? Let's explore the details of this case. Courtney Clenney was born in Texas on April 21st, 1996, to parents Kim and Deborah Clenney. Growing up, Courtney and her sister Morgan enjoyed a lavish childhood because their parents could afford to give them anything they wanted. Courtney was born an athlete, and she excelled at various sports activities such as football, gymnastics, volleyball, diving, and horse riding. In high school, Courtney became more serious about exercise and fitness. She dropped out of college to pursue her dreams of becoming a personal trainer and a social media star. It was around this time that she realized that her photos at the gym attracted a lot of attention online. She seized this opportunity and started building her brand and fan base on various social platforms. She started by launching her YouTube channel, Courtney Taylor, where she documented her journey to fame. She moved to Los Angeles, collaborated with other models, gave interviews, and even posed for Playboy. She also joined OnlyFans, a platform where she could sell her exclusive content to her loyal subscribers. Courtney's popularity and income skyrocketed as she gained over 1 million followers on Instagram and secured lucrative deals with well-known brands. She made more than $3 million on OnlyFans in less than 3 years. In 2020, Courtney met 29-year-old Christian Abusli, or Toby, a handsome and charming young man who stole her heart. They hit it off right away and started having a passionate relationship. At first, everything was great. They had fun, traveled, they were in love. But soon, things turned sour. Courtney was reportedly abusive and controlling towards Christian. She would get angry over trivial things, isolate him from his friends, and yell at him constantly. She also started to get really physical with him, as can be seen in this video where Courtney was attacking Christian in the elevator. He was trying to fend her off, but she keeps coming at him. Those close to Christian soon started noticing the changes in his behavior and attitude. The once energetic and cheerful Christian now appeared stressed and depressed. Courtney also had a drinking problem that got worse over time. She got 2 DUI charges in 12 months.
Things got blown out of Christian, like to the max.
Have you ever been cited or arrested before?
Yes.
For what?
DUI.
But that didn't stop her. She kept drinking and driving, putting herself and others in danger. She also kept hurting Christian physically and emotionally. One night in Las Vegas, the two got into another round of fierce fighting, and this time the police were involved because Courtney had violently injured Christian.
Did anybody punch, hit, spit, throw anything at each other? Did he hit you or you did it?
Well, I'm guessing that it's real, but that sounds like me.
Christian was hospitalized for days while the cops took Courtney into custody, where she spent about 12 hours behind bars. She was, however, later released when Christian refused to press charges against her. He insisted that it was a minor issue and that they could handle it. And they did handle it, as they made up a few weeks later and decided to move to Miami together in February of 2022. By now, Courtney had a lot of money, and she showed it off with this new Miami apartment. She and Christian lived in a fancy 3-bedroom apartment in Beverly Terrace, near downtown. Courtney paid $10,000 a month for the rent, and she never let Christian forget it. She would always brag about how she paid for everything and threatened to kick him out if he didn't do what she wanted. Courtney didn't care about anyone else, not even Christian. She said so herself on a podcast called We in Miami, where she confessed that she was toxic, bossy, and only dated rich black guys.
You like to be fully controlled, or do you?
I like to be submissive. Yeah, in the bedroom,
Yes.
but like in my life, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do.
As days went by, Courtney was continually getting out of control. She treated Christian like dirt, yelling at him, calling him names, even racial slurs. She would trash their home and hotel rooms when they traveled, and sometimes throw his stuff off the balcony. And then she would always come back to apologize and buy him expensive gifts, like a Louis Vuitton luggage that cost more than $10,000. By now, you could tell that Christian was madly in love with this woman who didn't care about him. This can be seen in the series of letters and text messages he had written to her over the years. In one of the letters he wrote, "The craziest thing about all of this is that yesterday when you stabbed me in the leg, the next morning I still woke up happy. I still gave you a good day even though my leg was hurting because my girlfriend stabbed me. Did I make you feel bad for stabbing me? No, I just sucked it up and hoped tomorrow would be better." In another text message sent in March 2022, Christian said, "Is love going to kill me? I got cheated on, I got called that word again, I got slapped in my stitches that have reopened multiple times and it's not healing fast enough, I've gotten kicked out." Nevertheless, Christian and Courtney's on and off again relationship hit rock bottom in March 2022. Courtney was getting more aggressive and wanted Christian out. But he had rights as a tenant, having lived there with her for a while. She couldn't just kick him out. So she brought her mom over for a week to help her, and Christian had to sleep on a tiny couch in the elevator room, a narrow hall between the elevator and the apartment. Courtney's mom left on April 1st, 2022, leaving the couple to sort things out themselves, but 24 hours later, the cops showed up yet again. But this time, they were called by the apartment's concierge, and Courtney was furious.
Can you please let me into my apartment? Please?
Okay.
Yes.
Excuse me, hold on. What's going on?
Okay.
Where's your apartment? You have a key?
We have
Ma'am, you don't need to talk to me.
Courtney had initially tried to stop the staff from calling the cops, and this explains why she was furious when they showed up. She told the officers she wanted a restraining order against Christian, but what's funny is that she didn't want the restraining order because she felt unsafe. She just wanted to get it before Christian did.
And that's fair. I do understand that, and that is why I said, can I get a restraining order and get there first?
On April 3rd, just a day after the incident with the police, the emergency services received a frantic call from their apartment once again. But this time, Courtney had done something that would permanently change her life and that of Christian forever.
Where to go? What is the address of your emergency? Okay, ma'am, please. 3101. It's 130, so 130. Ma'am, listen to me. You need to stop screaming on the line and give me the address.
I can't feel my arm.
3101.
I can't feel my arm.
Ma'am.
So my boyfriend is dying.
Ma'am, what is the address?
You could hear Christian on the call saying he couldn't feel his arm and that he was going to die. Meanwhile, the police and the paramedics were immediately dispatched, and they rushed down to the scene, where they were met with a sight that was too gruesome to describe. Courtney had fatally injured Christian in the chest, and he was just lying in her arms, gasping for air while trying to hold on to his life. Everything in their apartment was covered in red, including Christian and Courtney. With the amount of fluid Christian had lost, it was obvious that the incident had happened long before the emergency service was called. He was immediately rushed to the hospital while Courtney was taken in for questioning.
We just want to hear your side of the story and what occurred, so we can piece this together and come to an understanding. No?
Yeah, unfortunately we weren't there, you were, so there's no better person to tell us than you.
And it took so long for I don't know what I honestly, it was such a blur.
Courtney told the investigators that she and Christian had patched things up after their nasty fight the day before, and Christian decided to go for a walk the next day to calm his nerves. He left Courtney at home around 1:15 p.m., where she spent hours talking to her mom, doing some chores, and watching some true crime videos on YouTube. At 4:01 p.m., she went live on Instagram for 30 minutes and ended it when Christian came back with a Subway sandwich. But instead of enjoying their meal, they got into another argument. Why? Because Courtney was mad that Christian had turned off his location sharing app. She didn't trust him at all, and she wanted to know where he was at all times. Christian agreed to turn it back on, but he also wanted her to do the same, but she refused. and that's when things got ugly. Courtney claimed that Christian grabbed her by the neck and restricted her airflow with his hands. She was able to free herself and tried to call her mom for help, but that only made him mad. She claimed that he ran towards her and she grabbed a kitchen knife to defend herself, yelling at him, "Don't come any closer," but he didn't listen. He kept coming at her, and so she threw the knife at him from 10 feet away. Keep in mind that this is only Courtney's side of the story.
So you grabbed the knife?
Because I grabbed a knife. I grabbed a knife and I said, like, pretty much just like, "Don't get any close to me." And then, said something, and then I just like, threw it.
But after she supposedly threw the knife and saw the damage it had caused, Courtney did not immediately call 911. She instead called her mother and stayed on the phone with her for 13 minutes. 13 long minutes that could have saved Christian's life and made a difference. But that's not the only thing that makes Courtney look like she intended to kill Christian. During her interrogation, Courtney repeatedly said she hadn't had time to think about her story. But why would she need to think about her story if she was actually telling the truth?
But I haven't had a chance to have a pen and paper or my phone to like write down exactly what happened, and I haven't really even like fully thought about it. So honestly, my answer is I don't remember.
Sadly, 2 hours into this interview, around 5 p.m., Christian succumbed to his injuries at the hospital.
So we have to inform you that Christian did not make it. Okay. Unfortunately, the doctors did what they could. And
Christian is dead.
Yes.
Oh my God. This is not real, right?
Christian's friends and family were completely shattered by his death.
We've lost so much beyond just Toby. My aunt has never been the same.
They couldn't believe that their young and gentle Christian was taken away from them so suddenly and violently. They also wondered why Courtney, of all people, would do that to him. Courtney was taken to a psychiatric ward for an evaluation under Florida's Baker Act, which provides emergency mental health services for people in situations like this. But she was released from the hospital in less than 2 days. Investigators concluded that it was a domestic dispute and that Courtney had acted in self-defense. She was free to go. This really infuriated Christian's family and friends, who wanted her arrested and charged for Christian's murder. They hired a lawyer to look into the case, and he was able to find evidence proving that Courtney was always the aggressor and Christian the victim, but he needed time to build his case. Meanwhile, Courtney continued living her life like nothing had happened. She left Miami for Texas to be near her parents and bought a lavish $1.4 million home with 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a hot tub, and 3 decks. She also gave $1.2 million to her father for safekeeping. But while she might have seemed happy, she was falling apart inside. She drank more than ever and suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and she eventually checked into a rehab center in Hawaii for several weeks. On August 10th, 2022, fate finally caught up with her as investigators obtained a fresh warrant for her arrest for second-degree murder charges. The prosecution said they waited so long because they wanted to be sure of the evidence, and they had plenty of it. They had the video of Courtney attacking Christian in the elevator, and they also compiled an encyclopedia of about 12,000 messages the couple had exchanged. Christian had also left some clues, which were used as evidence against Courtney. He had secretly recorded some of their fights, one of which was when Courtney yelled at him for merely talking to another woman.
Shut up and let me life, you dumb. Give me my phone.
You have your phone.
You literally talked to her without telling me!
Courtney, I was on a bike ride and she passed me and I said hi.
However, the most damning evidence against her was the medical examiner's report, which contradicted her claim of self-defense.
What would you expect to see a knife do if someone just flung it at somebody?
Throw it the way a knife thrower throws it? It would just hit the body and bounce off.
The medical examiner established that Christian's injury destroyed his subclavian artery, and there's no way that level of injury could have been caused by a knife thrown, as Courtney had claimed. It was a deliberate, full-on attack, not an accident. Despite this evidence against her, Courtney's defense filed motions trying to get her out on bond, but they were all rejected.
Relief from the family of Christian Obumseli after a Miami-Dade judge announced Courtney Clenney would remain behind bars until her murder trial begins.
The judge cited the amount of money in Courtney's possession, which increases her chances of jumping bail if allowed to roam the street before her trial. As of October 2023, there hasn't been an official date set for her trial, but if she's found guilty of the charges, she will be spending a lot of time in prison. Do you buy Courtney's self-defense story, or do you think she intentionally caused the fatal injury that killed Christian? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay safe.